Welcome back, everyone. So I've heated my olive oil to 175 to 180 degrees because I'm doing a countertop hot process soap today with my Castile soap. So it's just olive oil and my lye water. There is no milk, no goat milk in this one. There are no fragrances, no colors. As you know, a lot of my soaps don't have much color or design. But on that same token, I think the beauty is in the actual ingredient. I like superficial beauty as much as the next person. I do. Of course, I recognize beauty in people and animals, nature, all sorts of wonderful things. And each of you are beautiful. You know, whether you wear a size 2 or you wear a size 40 or you have a waist as big around as a table or as small as Barry. You're lovely. You're a wonderful person. You know, well, and maybe not everybody is a wonderful person. I don't mean to suggest that, but I just mean based on appearances. Don't ever make a judgment call based on that. You'll always be disappointed. Because well, I won't go into all that right now. Right now I need to pour hot lye into hot oils. Oh, you can't really see, can you? Let's see if that's a little better. So the lye water is very hot. It's just mixed. Just got the lye dissolved. And there's our olive oil. And now I'm going to start the process of getting it stirred up. So you may wonder why I'm doing it this way. Well, I have found with Castile soap what everyone knows. That first of all, it takes forever to bring it to trace. It can take a long time. And it takes it a long time to cure, many, many months. Many people actually say that it's best after a year. Now, why might that be? Well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, olive oil is so high in several of the constituents that make it rather high in pH. So the soap actually, if used when it's fresh, you can use lye soap, or excuse me, you can use Castile soap right away. First of all, it would be way too soft. It would dissolve and probably disappear the first or second time you used it because it would be so soft. I'm talking about just cold process, pure Castile soap, meaning all olive oil and just water in this case. That it's only going to cure the initial cure, hardening, after a week or so. I mean, you can take it out of the mold earlier if you do a big water discount, which I've done here is a really huge. I am only, this formulation only is at 25% water solution. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, it can be very, very soft. It takes a long time, first of all, for all the water to evaporate, but then also for the pH to reduce. That's why, excuse me, I did it again. That's why Castile soap so many times people suggest that you let it cure for a year. That allows it time for it to completely convert and become more mild and gentle. Well, by using this method and heating, getting it up to a high heat, and in a moment I'm going to cover this actually. Matter of fact, let me get my cover for it. And I'm just going to be right back. So I'm going to set the lid on it, but upside down. Because the whole purpose of this is just to let it stay hot. So I'm going to move it aside and let it sit here, and then we'll come back to it. And we're going to see that it's going to kind of rise up a bit. And then we're going to keep doing it. We're going to mix it again, and then we're going to pour it in the molds. That's all there is to this. All right, so this is after longer than I meant to stay away. And so as you can see, it's become a nice kind of a mashed potato-y texture. This is good. And if I cover it back up, let me check the temperature of it here. We're at about 195, 187, about 190 degrees. That's Fahrenheit, of course. So I'm going to cover it back up and let it do that. I just wanted to give it a good stir. All right, now I want you to show you. Look at that. You're actually seeing it cook. And it's rising and rising. That's why I have it in this bucket. And don't worry, this is a very high density HDPE bucket, meaning it can take temperatures up to 248 degrees without any degradation or off-gassing. So look at the temperature of that. Now it's over 205 degrees. So it's approaching like the gel stage. See how it's getting kind of translucent and clear? So I'm actually going to give it a mix again, and it'll go down, of course. Isn't that fun? Now, what does this do? By getting it so hot and getting it to gel and do these things, what benefit, you may wonder, is this? Well, the benefit, here I should have my gloves on. I had them on and then took them off to go in the other room and came back in here and forgot to put them on. So I'm being very careful. What is the benefit of this? Well, in case you're wondering, the biggest benefit is that by heating it, by high heating the olive oil and the lye water together, we are forcing it into a premature cure almost. And this actually helps it to reach the stage where the pH reaches that more mild level that we're aiming for. And this will be ready to use in about 45 days. Well, I've used it in as little as a month, but for all intents and purposes, 45 days is good, rather than waiting a whole year. And you can test the purity of this using a pH tab or whatever you may have. And you will find that it is equal in mildness and pH to 1-year-old olive oil soap. And because of the reduced water and cooking it like this, countertop cooking it, we're also reducing the moisture that, because as it heats, it's steaming off all of that moisture that's inside it, making it harden quicker so that it doesn't spend so much time curing to lose all that moisture. So it's ready to use so much sooner. All right, so we'll come back in a bit, and the next step is we're going to put this in the mold. All right, I'm back for another check. Oh my goodness, okay. So this is now, it's gone to that Vaseline stage. And you will sometimes get like some of this separation Not a problem. Matter of fact, let me get the stick blender and hit this just for a minute or two and just kind of get it all blended back together again. I already have my molds out here. I just wanted to be ready because when it comes together, I just want to immediately pour it. And now I'm going to start putting it into the molds, because if I don't, it will start solidifying on us right there in the pot. We don't want that. We want it in our molds. We want some nice bars of soap, don't we? So I'm actually going to just dip right in like this. Messy, yes, but it's the fastest way for me to do it, is just to dip right in. Right. It is a messy way to do it, that's for sure, but I find it just, it works for me. I only do these once or twice a year because it is a bit of a challenge, this part. But I know that people love the soap, so I continue to make it and will continue to make it. Just like I make the pure tallow soap and those sort of things. People like them. So if people like them, I will continue to make them for them as long as I can. All right, so I'm going to bang these down some more and then clean up, and then we're going to take them out of the mold. All right, see you back in a bit. All right, so the advantage I'm about to show you of cooking your Castile soap is the following. It's a little rough looking, and that's because it's a thicker soap, and it's going to be a little bit oily because I super fatted it, which I always do with Castile soap. But this is a little over 20 hours later, and we have solid Castile soap. Well, solid, I mean, I could press on it and probably dent it, but it is about as solid as a lot of other soaps are after the same period of time. And if you have made Castile soaps before, you know it can be rather soft. So try this method. I think you'll find it useful. I'm going to get these cut up and get them on the shelf to cure. And then in a little over a month, these are going to be ready to sell because they're going to be mild enough for you to use. So let's get these cut. Welcome back, everyone. So I'm now going to cut these. I am not a fan of this design, if I haven't already mentioned that. The soap kind of gets wedged between these walls here and the backstop, and it's tricky, especially when you're cutting thicker bars. It cuts them nice and even, so I'm very happy with that. But there we go. There's our first bar. They have this odd kind of texture, I know, and that's because of the hot process that I did and pouring it in the mold, so they're not as smooth as they might be otherwise. I'll clean them up with a little bit of beveling. They'll be just fine. My niece, one of my nieces, who was going to get married, and then the pandemic came along, and her wedding was postponed, and they're now planning on May. I hope that it happens. I know she'd be heartbroken if it got changed again. And that's something I'd love to go and be a part of. I'm a little reticent about sending an RSVP because we don't know what'll be going on then, right? It's so hard. I know what it must be like for them, for anyone trying to plan their life, how challenging that must be. All right, I've just babbled. You don't want to hear all this. So, listen, I hope you all have a terrific day. I've got one more loaf here I need to cut, but this is all I'm going to be doing for the next little bit. And like I said, this won't be in the store for about 6 to 8 weeks, but it will be ready at that time. And it'll be a wonderful mild. Oh, I did check the pH of it. And the pH of this is just a little over 9. Normally with Castile soap, when you first do make it, it is over 11, a very high pH, and that's why you have to let it age over time. But by doing it this method, it reduces that pH tremendously, making it a much milder soap a lot sooner. Isn't that great? Okay, so I've babbled on enough. Have a great day, everyone. It was wonderful having you here today. Goodbye.